Good afternoon, everyone. Harry Rahman with Business IQ, and today's our third episode. And last week we spoke about the questions you should ask your suppliers to better educate who you are a better fit for and who is a better fit for you. Today, we're going to talk about investing in yourself. One of the biggest things that you could do for your business and for your personals, for yourself, for your family is invest in yourself. So I was on an interview about 8 years ago in Window Film Magazine. It was a video interview that they did. And the lady that interviewed me asked me, Harry Rahman, you've been in this industry at that time it was about 16 years or so, or 17 years. And she said, what would you do differently if you were to do it all over again? And I said, I would invest more in myself. So today I'm going to talk to you about 4 different ways you can invest in yourself. The investment in yourself doesn't necessarily mean the investment in your business. I'm talking about you. You are the biggest asset that your business has. It doesn't matter if you run a $250,000 business or $25 million business or $250 million business, right? You have to invest in yourself. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, in terms of investing in yourself, is the most important thing is invest in the way you think, right? Now, that sounds very trivial and it just sounds like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I know that, right? Invest in the way. So a lot of people spend their time and effort investing in learning how to do things, right? And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about invest in understanding and learning how to think. The Elon Musk doesn't sit there because he has made 30,000 of his however many cars Tesla has made. He knows and he directs and he thinks about where he wants to take the company and his vision and so forth. So he doesn't sit there and make the cars. He comes up with ways to expand the market for cars in general and even beyond cars. So what does this really mean to you? What this means is there are 3 kinds of people, right? One, the first type is they think they know enough to lead a good organization. The second one is they start learning when something goes wrong, okay? And then they're like, okay, I got to learn it. And then the third type is the person that is always learning no matter what, because they're trying to get ahead of themselves. And again, we're not competing with anybody else. When you're investing in yourself, you're competing with yourself. So they're trying to get ahead of themselves and they're trying to get ahead of the old self. So they're comparing themselves to last year's self and they're saying, okay, what am I going to do differently? So that's the first thing that I would say you have to do, is understand in investing in yourself. So it could be as simple as, I want you to think about the amount of time that you drive to work and you drive back, or if you're installing, or if you're going to an appointment or whatever it is. You may be listening to music, right? Now, I'm not saying, I like music, so I'm not saying get rid of that time. I'm saying take some of that time and break it into podcasts, right? Listen to the podcasts that expand your mind, that make you think differently. Obviously, I'm talking about my podcast. Now, just kidding. I want you to do whatever it is that helps you expand your mind, right? So that's why one of the things that I did was, my podcasts are under 10 minutes because I want people to be able to listen to them. I want people to be able to hit 2x the speed when you're listening to me, so you can listen to it in even 5 minutes if you'd like. So think about that. Different podcasts that you can listen to, and I'm not saying get rid of music, but blend that in. The second thing I want you to invest is invest in relationships, right? So I know that relationships, they're personal relationships, they're business relationships, they're friends, they're all sorts of different relationships. But I'm talking about just invest in your relationships as a whole, right? So whether that means, okay, dedicating a certain amount of time to come home, and I know, I'm a hypocrite right now because the amount of time I've been spending at work recently as a startup has been a long time. So my wife and kids are probably going to look at this and say, Dad, listen to yourself. So as I'm putting a challenge out to myself as well as you, that invest in the relationships even at home. So wife and kiddos, if you're listening to this, I'm going to be a little bit better at this. Second thing is that when you invest in business relationships, I don't want you to just think about relationships that are going to tag you on social media to make you feel better and help your ego, or relationships that are just going to take you out for a meal so that you can feel great about a meal. I had always said back even in my days in other industries that I don't need a free meal, right? I want somebody that is able to help me grow myself, grow my business. So people that are willing to tell me things that I may not want to hear, people that are going to analyze a part of my business that even I may be overlooking. So those are the types of relationships. Even with friends, I want you to think about friendships that not just agree with everything you say, but that bring a different perspective to your life. I think that is part of the investment in yourself, and vice versa. You need to do the same for them. The third one is invest in your health. Now, health could be mental health, it could be physical health, it could be many different ways that you can help yourself, right? So what I do now, my knees have been telling me otherwise, but even when I'm at work, even on these late nights, I will go do my 3.5-mile run. Now, for the last couple of days, my knees have been telling me I'm too old for this. So whatever it is that you do, right? If you like the gym, that's great. If you like to go for a walk at the park, that's great. Whatever it is, that investment is not just an investment in your physical health. Actually, it helps me think clearer and helps prioritize what I should be working on next. Now, again, you're probably thinking, yeah, I know I should invest in my health. The question is not knowing it. The question is, what are you going to do about it? So I had somebody tell me, we were talking about one day about just going to church, and they said to me, they're like, yeah, we know that. And I said, yeah, I know, but how many of you actually do it, or how many of you actually do something about it, right? So same thing with health is whatever it is. It could be your mental health. And again, podcasts, audio books are a great way to help you on your mental health side. So you should be thinking about, okay, do I have any concerns about X, Y, or Z? Is it employees? Is it my business? Is it personal? But you have to get outside of your own head. And that's the really important thing. Even in terms of growth, you have to get outside of your health. But in terms of personal growth and health, you got to get outside of your head, right? So otherwise, you will keep replaying. It's one of my mentors shared this with me. So think about you're watching a football game and you keep seeing the same angle of the throw that was a touchdown, and you keep seeing the same angle, but you see it in slow motion, and then you speed it up, and then you see it in slow motion, and then guess what? You see a different camera and a totally different angle. I'm sure you guys have seen situations like this, and it tells a totally different story. So what I'm saying is the camera that you're looking at your problems or concerns with is one angle. Get outside of your head, talk to somebody, listen to podcasts, and go look at a totally different camera and a totally different angle. The last part of this is invest in your weakness. Now, your weakness doesn't necessarily mean that, look, I'm a shitty golfer, so I'm going to start playing golf, right? No, maybe I don't need to play golf. Maybe I need to get better at at the sport that I'm good at, right? I still haven't figured out what that is. But what I'm saying to you is that you can also invest in your weakness. So if you're not a good leader and you think that you tend to piss off your employees and so forth, then maybe you invest in leadership skills, right? Maybe you watch podcasts, maybe you go take some courses and so forth so that you can help better yourself as a leader. But investing in yourself doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get better at something. If you think that you don't enjoy something or you suck at something and you don't want to get better at it, you could also hire somebody. That is also part of investing in yourself. So I'll tell you that in terms of operational things, I'm not the greatest at the operational side of the business. So guess what? I have people around me that I think that really help me become better on the operational side. So think about it. Think about your weakness and what you could be better at. But if you can't be better at it, then go find somebody, right? That person does not have to be full-time. Maybe it's a consultant. Maybe it's something. So I have a consultant, several consultants, but I have one consultant who helps me on the strategic side of things. And it's a great guy. As a matter of fact, his name is Andy Mastriani, and he's going to be speaking at the Window Film Conference, as I will be speaking at the Window Film Conference too. I'll be talking about this topic of how to overcome some of the, I think it's some of, I don't know what the exact topic is now that I think about it, but it talks about some of the global issues that are affecting our business today, not just our business, but the industries as a whole. So, and how to navigate through these turbulent times. But so not only that, if you're interested, find a consultant, right? It doesn't have to be the consultant that I'm referring to. Find somebody that can help you, that can give you a different perspective, the different playbook, the different angle, the different camera that I was referring to. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up 15 minutes of your consulting time at the Window Film Conference. We are going to be, Plurilayers is going to be exhibiting there, and I'm going to pick up the tab on that. If you want certain sort of growth in your business and you want a different perspective, Andy does not work for me. He's independent, and he's going to be at our booth, and you can schedule time with us. And if you want to avail that opportunity to talk to Andy, he's been consulting in the industry for over 20 years, and he's been helping me in various capacities over the last 20 plus years. If you want to be a part of that, just comment growth. The first 10 people that sign up for that, I will pick up the tab on the consulting services. If you do these 4 things, and again, there could be many more that you can think of, that whatever works for you, I feel that every year you'll look back and you'll say, I am a better me, and I invested in myself. Look, business is going to come and go, and the way you handle yourself, how long you live, the quality of life that you live is going to determine how well that business does. So that's the topic for today. Next week, I'll be talking about another topic that talks about chasing the shiny penny. Now, I hear, I see this on social media, and I hear from a lot of people that, hey, well, I'm going after this brand, or I'm going after this thing, or, I'm chasing the shiny penny because it's the shiny penny out there, right? So I want to go get it before somebody else gets it, and I think it's going to really help me with my business. So look, chasing the shiny penny is not always as fruitful as it looks and as it sounds, right? So I'll talk to you about what are the different types of shiny pennies that you may be chasing, and the questions you should be asking yourself every time you look at that penny. So for episode 3, thanks for watching, and look forward to talking to you next week in episode 4, The Shiny Penny. Thank you.